What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Anime Art for What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Anime Art for Amateurs, episode 6. Today's episode, we're going to be covering a more complicated subject than we have before. We're going to be covering how to do emotions. Now, I've taught you the basics of how to draw, like, your normal character, but the emotion of them is what will bring them to life. So we're going to do 5 basic emotions today. We're going to do neutral, happy, sad, angry, and confused. Using these, we'll be able to really bring your characters to life, and we'll be able to really tell a story using their face. So we're just going to start off with neutral, which is the easiest expression to do since it is, after all, just being neutral. And you'll notice all these heads are identical. They are of my original character, Ikura, and we're going to be using her to demonstrate the different emotions that we can do today. You'll notice I have where the eyes are going to go and where the mouth is going to go. So firstly, I draw my eye. And remember, I showed you eyes last time. If you want to check out how to draw eyes, click the link to the playlist. I'm gonna just doodle some eyes here. And these eyes, since we're doing it neutral, these eyes don't really need to be changed that much. They're just going to be normal eyes. And the same goes for her mouth, though it can be in a slight frown because humans' mouths tend to slope downwards when they're at neutral. Her mouth is right about where the circle and the little triangle for the face meet. And then you can include her nose and her eyebrows. See, for a neutral expression, you don't need too much. Drew that a little bit small. Next time we'll draw it a little bit bigger. But for now, I'm just going to increase the size until it's proportionate for her face. That's more about the size you want. See, neutral expressions are very, very easy to do because you don't have to do much. They're just neutral. They're just kind of there. But one of my favorite expressions to do is that of a happy, like a smiling, joyous face. So again, we're going to draw her eyes, just like we did last time. But now, instead of making the bottom curve down like we did last time, we're going to come down here and then make them curl up just a bit. Or make them curve up just a bit, sorry. And this will give off the impression that she's kind of like her cheek muscles are moving upwards on her face because she is smiling down here. And it makes her look really, really happy. Or you could even do what I like to do and do an open mouth. Then we just come up here. Now for happy expressions, usually this is for something that people like. And when people see something that they like, their pupils and their eyes tend to get bigger. So you kind of want to replicate that with your drawing by making her eyes fill up more of a space. And you want to raise her eyebrows, like upwards, to show that she's kind of interested in whatever she's looking at. So you have to think of the context of what your character is doing in order to really make your expressions feel right. You can just add her nose. And again, see, I kind of drew her a little bit differently, but I'm thinking I won't go with this open mouth, even though that is a possibility. I think I'm just going to go with a big, normal smile. And that's just a general happy expression. A lot of anime like to add like these blush marks. It's usually just 3 lines on the cheeks to kind of show like she's blushing and really happy. But yeah, there's your general happy expression. Remember, the eyes are kind of squinted upwards because the cheek muscles are smiling and they push them upwards and make them really want to close, but she's keeping them open. And her eyebrows are raised because she's very interested in what she's looking at. Now the next expression I'm going to do is one of my less favorite expressions to draw because I don't really like drawing sad people. So we're going to be drawing a sort of sad expression now. The key to a sad expression is, again, we're going to curve the bottom of the eye upwards instead of down and around like we've normally been doing. But this time it's because she really wants to close her eyes, but isn't. And that's because she's going to be crying a little bit. We're going to draw the other eye. Now, when people are happy, their pupils tend to get bigger, but when they're sad, they sort of tend to get a little smaller. So we can draw her pupils actually showing more of the whites of her eyes. And then for traditional tears, you just kind of draw a little circle over in the corner of the eye and maybe a streak going down the cheek for traditional, like, simple anime and manga. You know, looking at it, I don't think that the smaller eyes look too good. So I'm instead going to break away from that and make her eyes bigger. I'm going to make her eyes bigger, but her actual eyelids smaller. That's another way that you can portray sadness, is because whenever people cry, you know, they tend to squint a lot. So we're going to take this top eyelid, bring it down, and we're going to take this one and we're going to bring it down as well. Now, when people cry, they usually aren't like you see how in the happy expression she has her eyebrows raised. Well, this time she's going to kind of drop her eyebrows and they're going to curve that way. They're going to curve from up in the center to out to the outside. And we're going to put a nice frown. And again, anime and manga tend to exaggerate emotions a lot, so you can really play with this, and you can make their emotions really dynamic and really, really, really expressive. But again, this is just for a simple guide. We're going to draw her pupils a little bit bigger than when she's happy, because we're kind of wanting to go with the puppy dog eyes thing here. There we go. That's a little bit better of a size, and it's more consistent with the rest. So far, we have neutral, we have happy, and we have sad. Now, the next emotion I'm going to do is anger. Anger is one of my favorites to draw because it really shows off the way that anime and manga tend to squish and stretch the face a little bit. So for anger, we're going to once again, and you can either make the bottom of the eye curve out or curve up. It works both ways. But this time we are going to keep the smaller eye look, because when people get angry, they tend to really shake and tense up, and having a smaller eye like this really shows off that she's getting really intense. Then you just draw the other eye, exactly the same as your first. Now, one thing that people tend to do when they get very, very intense is they tend to shake, and we're going to show that in her eyes. So her eyes are going to be shaking with rage, and we're just going to draw these two little bitty lines to either side of her iris. We're going to make her pupil really small. Don't forget to add the eyelashes, because that's part of her character design. I should know, I designed her. And then underneath her eye, we're going to add these sort of bags. Anything to really show off how much, how wide open she has her eyes. She looks filled with rage. So now here comes the fun part and what really shows that she's angry, and that's the eyebrows. Now, without the eyebrows, and this is the fun part, without the eyebrows, she just looks scared. Like I could do this, and now she's scared. But if you want real anger, bring her eyebrow all the way down to her eye and then curve it up. And you can see how this shows off a lot of emotion, which is something that anime and manga are really known for. They're known for like their exaggerated emotions and how they show people's feelings. So the next like big part of anger is the mouth. All these emotions can be broken down into 3 elements: the eyebrows, the eyes, and the mouth. Now the mouth for anger, we will probably be drawing it with her with gritted teeth. So like she'll have her teeth bared and like just growling in anger. So she's gonna really be like super duper angry. So we're going to draw her. It's kind of either bean or hourglass shaped, because you can see it thins in the middle but gets wide on the outside. And you can either draw it with like a dashed line in there to make it look like gritted teeth, or you can make the lines solid and do that, or you can just... A lot of anime and manga like to put this little fang in there when people get angry, but I don't really like that look for her. So what I'm gonna do instead is just the gritted teeth. So as you can see, she looks very enraged. So now we have the basic emotion. One thing that a lot of anime and manga like to do when people are angry is to add like a little cross up here. I don't really know what this is called, but I like to include it when people are angry. It's kind of showing like, oh, it's a pain in my head. This is making me really, really mad, so much that my veins are starting to bulge. Now the final emotion I think I'll do for today is a sort of confused emotion. Now a lot of confusion can come from a main character whenever like something that they just don't know what's going on. So the way that you would draw confusion is, again, we're going to start with the eyes. But this time, we're going to do something unique to this emotion. We're going to make one of the bottoms of the eyes come up like this, and then the other's going to stay normal. And on the side that the eye comes up on, we're going to curl the eyelash up this way, and on the other one we're going to leave it normal. So it's like we're drawing this face halfway happy and halfway sad. Like for this one, the left half is going to be sad and the right half is going to be happy. So again, draw your right half like it's happy, and then your left half kind of like just different. Now the way we're going to draw a confused mouth is not the same way that we've been doing it. Like, we're not going to draw it halfway sad and halfway happy, because that'll look kind of weird. What we're going to do is just kind of an open oval, and we're going to just have a neutral open mouth. We'll add her nose in. We drew this eye a little too small, so we're going to make it a little bigger. And again, this expression looks neutral right now, but we can actually really sort of play with this idea. I'm going to change the mouth from an oval to a circle. And that kind of helps. Again, all of these emotions are just jumping off points. Now, normally when people are confused, they'll do a little thing, and a lot of people don't really notice it, but they will tilt their head. So anime and manga like to do this a lot too, and we're gonna do that. We're going to tilt her head, and you see how that helps the emotion a little bit? The way the head is tilted does usually help it. You want to make sure that the way your head is tilted is appropriate to the emotion that you're drawing. But with that, I believe this emotion looks good. So there you go. After just a few minutes, we now have 5 different emotions. We have neutral, which was the easiest to draw. Again, it's just drawing a face with like no emotion whatsoever. We have happy, where we started to learn how to curve the bottom of the eyes upwards so that they kind of squint shut. And we had the blush lines. Sad, we learned that we have to squint the eyes shut even more and add tears in the corners and make the eyebrows curl from here upwards in order to really show that she's kind of worried and sad at the same time. And then we have anger, which is super fun, where we showed how to draw gritted teeth and make the pupils and irises smaller. That way we can show that she's really tense. And we have the little cross thing, which I still forget what it's called, but it's there and it helps. And then we have just a little confused, where she kind of has this halfway, like, what's going on? She just kind of droops her mouth open a little bit, and her eyebrows go in different directions to show that she's kind of pondering something. So thank you for watching today. Hopefully you can use this in the future. Be sure to check out Project Valkyrie in the description, and don't forget to support us on Patreon. And as always, have an awesome day.